Hey everybody, Mike Guglielmi from Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast. Nick Pateris joining me live stream reaction time. It's decision day in MLS. We're going to find out what's going to happen in all these games. Who's going to take the Shield? Will it be TFC? Will it be Philly? Who knows? We're going to find out here shortly. Nick, how you doing today, man?
Mike, I'm great. I feel like I've missed out on everything for the last couple of weeks. Had to take care of some personal and family stuff, so it's great to be back watching live soccer with such an impact and an important day for everyone here who's an MLS fan, who's an American soccer fan. So I'm excited.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm really excited as well. My boys, TFC, they've got a chance at the Supporter Shield. So we will see how that goes. We've got Cameron Young has joined us. Cameron says decision day is finally upon us. How you doing, Cameron? Saw your tweet there about your game today. Well done, sir. Congratulations on that, and thanks for jumping on with us. So here we are, man. This is we're getting ready to start this game up here. Let's talk a little bit up about the lineups. We've got my feed has frozen on both YouTube things here. All right, now we're back. So anyways, I've got our lineups today. We start out with the Red Bulls. They're starting 11. They've got Ryan Mira in goal. They've got Kyle Duncan. I forgot what the layout is of who they have in what formation. But they've got Ryan Mira in goal. They also then on their defense, they've got Duncan, Parker, Long, and Pendant. In their midfield, Yearwood, Velo, Barlow, Davis, and Stroud with Brian White up top. TFC now, as far as their starting lineup goes, they've got Quentin Westberg in goal, Auro Jr., Mavinga, Gonzalez, and Larea across the back line. Midfield of Bradley, Osorio, De Leon, Pozuelo, and Endo with Io Akinola up top. So this one here, you got Akinola back in the game. He scored the last game when he returned from injury. You also got Osorio back in play, as well as Chris Mavinga. So a strong lineup from TFC's Josie Altidore on the bench, as well as I believe who else? Somebody else came back from injury. I can't remember who. But we got Altidore on the bench there. So those are pretty strong lineup there for Toronto FC. Decent lineup for the Red Bulls as well with their head coach Bradley Carnell. Should be a good one, man. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think this is going to be an even match since it's in Red Bull Arena.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got a couple of big things on the line here, right? You've got TFC playing for the Shield, pretty much between Toronto and Philadelphia. Whoever has the better result today, that's who's going to end up with the Shield. And then You've got Red Bulls. They are in the playoffs. The Eastern Conference top 8 seeds are set, but they can move a little up and down in the standings. Do they want to end up playing Toronto? Do they want to end up playing Orlando? They're playing for seeding right now, so I expect both teams to come out and try to play for a win here. I was listening to some of the MLS's pregame about the TFC game, and they were saying that, hey, with Josie on the bench, if it's a close game, you might see him come in like the 75th, 80th minute and try and, have a little magic or something early on for them. So we'll see if that happens. Otherwise, we know Josie usually does show up in big playoff type games. So if they can keep him on the bench and just make sure he's 100% healthy once the playoffs do start up, I would fully expect that as well.
Agreed. I think he'll come into the game late if that is needed, whether it's tied or they're down. I think that's what'll happen. So we are just about to kick off here, and there it is, just kicked off. Red Bulls hold possession. They're the home team. This is going to be a lot of fun. Beautiful day in New York, just like it is here in Chicago. 74 degrees in New York with 4-mile-an-hour winds. So it's a beautiful afternoon. Unfortunately, no fans in the building to enjoy it, just the players.
Right. And speaking of Chicago there, Mike, I got the New York City-Chicago game on my end, just keeping an eye on some of the shuffling that could happen towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference table. Chicago playing here at Soldier Field. Again, it's beautiful, beautiful day in the Chicagoland area. Temperatures almost they probably hit 70, which is like near record highs for this point in November. So we will see if the Chicago Fire can take advantage of this nice weather at home and, improve their playoff seeding. With a win, they are not going to be able to get out of the play-in. As you know, 1 through 8 in the Eastern Conference get in, and then the last 1 through 6 get in, and then 7 through 10 are in that kind of play-in area. So the Chicago Fire, even with a win, are going to be in the play-in area. But with a loss, they could get leapfrogged by Atlanta United or Inter Miami, depending on their results later today. So
right, so nothing's guaranteed for the Fire, that's for sure. So we're going to keep everybody updated on all the scores. Once my scoreboard starts working here, I found this nifty new feature where I can actually put like a browser up here somewhere in the picture, and it'll show the score, the running score of the Philly game. So that's what I'll do, because if you're watching this game and you're a TFC fan, or you're just a soccer fan in general, you probably want to know where the Shield's going. I think that's the most important thing on decision day today. Again, teams making the playoffs definitely comes into play. But I'm going to throw that up here shortly as soon as we get that up. And that way everybody will be able to see what's going on in that game as well. So we'll be keeping everybody apprised of all the scores. This is your decision day headquarters, Nick. This is going to be like, are we like calling the results? We want to start calling states while we're at it. Like,
right. Well, I mean,
TFC in Connecticut, right? And the Connecticut state goes to.
Yeah, and we could call a game in the 90th, but then stoppage time, someone would score, and then we'd have to recount. So I think that's kind of how it's going to go here. But yeah, hey, Mike, by the way, got to point out, my guy, Fotis Bazakos, head referee here, Chicago, New York.
Okay.
So we'll see if he pulls out his typical 3 yellow cards this game, or if he kind of lets him play. But Chicago with some early possession and a free kick from about 20 yards out now in the 4th minute. So they're gonna get a good chance early, and as we know, that's what the Fire need to take advantage of if they do want to win games. They need to take advantage of these early opportunities that they create. So that's what's going on over here. As far as New York City and Chicago lineups, it's exactly what you would expect. We expect to see Baric get a lot of attention from the New York City defense. We'll see if Mihailovic, who's playing on the left wing, can create some opportunities for him as he stands over this free kick that he drew. We'll see. We'll see what Chicago does here, Mike. You had some excitement over in the TFC game early now?
We did. So it was a little bit of a break for TFC. Pozuelo with a great through ball into Io Akinola. He tried to go around Aaron Long, and Aaron Long got the ball, but I think it probably could have been called a foul right outside the box, but it was not called. So it was cleared out by TFC or by Red Bulls. So here is currently Omar Gonzalez standing over a free kick. They called a foul on Brian White of New York. And this one's kind of just got a little bit of a slow pace. Both teams just feeling each other out here. Nothing crazy going on in this one.
There you go. Meanwhile, that free kick from Chicago goes begging. But they do get the ball back and are able to score in the 5th minute. Chicago with the early goal, but the offside flag comes up. Offside. That's terrible. But Wiki seems encouraged on the bench there, the coach for Chicago Fire. He's encouraged. He's up hopping around. But it looks like Frankowski's goal is being called back. I don't know if it took a deflection from a player in the offside position. We'll have to see the replay. But yes, we have a player who is a yard offside, and it does take a deflection off of his back, and that's how it went in.
Okay, wow. So we do have a goal in MLS. Orlando just took an early 1-0 lead over Nashville. So Orlando City continuing their hot streak of play. But here we actually have the Red Bulls with a little bit of a chance here by is that Yearwood? I believe it's Yearwood, the midfielder for the Red Bulls. But a nice stop from TFC. And now TFC has possession as they go all the way back to Quentin Westberg. The goalkeeper, he tries to send it out to Richie Larea, and I'll tell you, Larea screws it up and the ball goes out of play. But for TFC, I hate to see Larea starting the game. I mean, should he be a starter in MLS? Absolutely. But his speed, he makes his best difference when he comes off the bench in like the 65th, 70th minute of a game. That's when, he could really turn a game on its head. So that's I'm a little annoyed that he's starting today. I probably, especially on the left. I know Morrow's out hurt, but I probably would have went with Gallagher and then probably threw Larea in at the end of the game, or maybe even pushed him into a midfield spot because he does do well in the midfield as well. So here we go. Red Bulls in possession in the attacking third. Yearwood strikes it in and cleared out by Michael Bradley, who's very, very deep. Given away there by Nick DeLeon. Yearwood into the box, plays advantage. It's blocked off by Mavinga, and then almost goes out of play, but Westberg stops it. So, hey, we just picked up a subscriber. Ali Orek, subscribe to your channel. Thank you, Ali. Appreciate it. And everybody else that's watching that has not done so already, get in on our 1,000 YouTube subscriber challenge. We're getting into the playoffs now. We're at about 520 subscribers. We got to hit 525, 530 by the end of the day today. And if we reach 1,000 subscribers, I got to erase this off of here. When we reach 1,000 subscribers, not by MLS Cup Finder, we're going to give away a gift card and get your chance to win a $250 Visa gift card. It's that simple. Hit that subscribe button, like it as well. Keep this thing high in the ratings for the search results, and enjoy the show. So thanks for everybody that has subscribed, as well as Ali Orek for just coming on. And let's keep this thing going. Let's keep this conversation going. Everybody that's watching, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We've got Cameron Young over. God, he's over in the UK. So it's almost getting ready for bedtime over there. But let us know where you're watching from. We're here in the Chicago area, and let's have some fun talking everything MLS today on decision day, at least for the Eastern Conference games.
Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. And let's kind of run down the standings and kind of let everyone know what's at stake right now. So looking in the Eastern Conference, it's Philly and Toronto, top two teams. One of them is going to come home with the Shield, depending on what the results are today. And then you have Orlando and Columbus in the third and fourth spots. Columbus is still looking to win and solidify a top four spot, solidify that home field advantage. Whatever home field advantage is left this season. So they are definitely out looking for a win. I think they're matched up against Atlanta today, a team who's been giving them fits in playoff history, but this is not the same Atlanta team that we have all come to know over the last several years. Continuing down the Eastern Conference, New York City, New England Revolution, Red Bulls, and Nashville. Nashville making a playoff appearance. They have clinched in their inaugural season here. So great to see the Tennessee team being able to slip into the playoffs that first season. But as we know, it's all about sustaining success here in the MLS. It's making the playoffs is one thing. You got to be able to do it consistently. And then you've got Montreal, Chicago above the line right now. They're in the play-in game. And Atlanta, Miami, DC still alive, needing results today. The only team already eliminated in the East, Cincinnati. Sorry about it, folks.
I doubt
so. That's the Eastern Conference right there for you. Yeah.
No Cincinnati fans will be watching this one. Unfortunately, a real disappointing season for them. But we're here to talk about the teams that do have a shot. There was an interesting chance here for TFC. It was a 3-on-2 just a minute ago. Akinola goes out wide. Tim Parker running with him. Akinola puts his hands on his back, and Tim Parker just drops like he caught 6 rounds to the back. And and that was a foul. Apparently. Hey, we got another subscriber here. Dylan Daru Oranges, subscribed to your channel. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on our train here and getting a chance at that $250. So here's the throw-in for TFC. Michael Bradley over to Richie Larea. Now over to Mavinga. Mavinga back to Westberg, and TFC building that possession out of the back from that high press of the New York Red Bulls. Man, they've been on it. That's for sure. Red Bulls have been, as soon as TFC gets the ball, they've been all over them. Nothing different there by the Red Bulls. They continue doing what they do best.
I kind of chuckled when you were doing the lineups, Mike, and you're like, I forget what the Red Bull formation is. I'm like, it doesn't matter. They're just going to keep pressing. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to be hunting down balls. They're going to be
to Akinola. He's in. He takes a shot, and it just goes wide. Damn good chance for TFC there. Akinola's getting lined up, man. He's had a couple good chances of getting behind these guys, and he just beat Aaron Long and then slowed down, took a little bit too long with his first touch. But he's getting behind that line on this high press, and that might kill the Red Bulls today if Akinola can get on his game.
Oh yeah, that's the weakness in the high press, right? Now Red Bulls do it as well as anyone, but if you can have a quick runner like Akinolo make those diagonal runs and find the gaps behind the lines, that could be a complete killer to a high press like that. And what was discouraging, though, from what you told me earlier, Mike, is you saw Bradley already starting to sit a little deep. Bradley's got to push up and start stringing some passes together. That's one way to beat this press. So hopefully, for TFC's sake, Bradley can get a little more upfield. We know historically when he's sitting deep, they tend to absorb a lot more pressure with poor results. So hopefully he can get a little bit more forward.
Absolutely. Ball goes out of play. We've got a couple more score updates here in MLS. We've got DC United taking a lead over Montreal 1-0. DC United's been hot since they fired Ben Olsen, and Montreal just continues to look like trash. Other than beating, I think they beat Philly or Columbus when they were number one in the East at one time, but other than that, they've just looked like complete trash under Thierry Henry, and I think he's getting a huge pass from everyone just because his name is Thierry Henry. I don't think
you gotta.
He failed at Monaco horribly. He's come here. He had the whole offseason to build a team. He had, obviously it's the COVID season, so everything's a little bit different. But still, I think his results have been trash. That team, with the amount of talent that they had, I remember those team previews. I expected that they were not going to make the playoffs, and they just, the fans, man, those Montreal fans, they're like, oh, what about Bohan? What about Lapalainen? Oh, these guys are awesome. They've got such a great team. They're going to win. They're going to win the Eastern Conference. They're so good. And I'm like, no, they're not.
Okay. Let us know how you really feel, Mike. Yes.
Here you go. I mean, they're sitting in a playoff spot somehow at the moment. Well, not anymore in these live standings. And as I talk shit about them, they tie it up against DC.
I was waiting for you to notice that, Mike. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. But we got Jonathan Osorio down. Sean Davis came in really late on a higher ball with a boot up, and Osorio down on the ground. He's just getting up now. And scary sights for TFC fans since he, was just getting back from injury today. He's been out, and it's been definitely a huge missing piece for TFC. There's no doubt about that in those few games he was out. Here's Aro in possession. Goes back to Omar Gonzalez, up to Michael Bradley, and he gives it right away to the press. Sean Davis up to, looks like Brian White with those huge flowing locks. Then Florian Velo. Offside there on somebody. I can't remember who that was. That's Barlow.
Mike, we got a score update for you here.
Another score. What do you got?
Early goals going on here. New York City, after about 7 or 8 minutes of Chicago Fire possession and domination, NYC comes in, and I don't know if it was my daughter showing up here, the fact that she just lost her tooth about a minute ago, or the fact that New York City just can't be denied. They put one off the woodwork. They earn a corner kick and then convert the header off the corner to go up 1-0 on Chicago early. So great start for New York City. You can see Chicago's goalkeeper is just so frustrated. Nobody was marking on that one. Free runner comes in behind. Who's that? Alexander Callens gets his second of the season in the 15th minute here. And like I said, just before that, Castellanos on a quick break just had a rocket go off the near post. So New York City, they came to play here, man. They're ready to go. They're going to keep their high seeding. That's what they're looking to do. And is this going to be the same old story for Chicago? They miss an early opportunity, then they go down and can't recover. So we will see what happens over here at Soldier Field. Oh, the one other thing. I'm sorry. Cameron Young says it, and it's exactly took the words right out of my mouth. Don't you want to give Thierry Henry a little bit more time and finance to create a winning team? Now, I don't know how much money you're going to get out of the Montreal Impact ownership, but yeah, I think you got to give them a little time. You're right, Mike, that people are all excited about Boyan, and maybe they shouldn't be, but he's been definitely performing well, but that's relative to the rest of the roster. So I'll give you the fact, Mike, that they're not playing that well.
Boyan played a good game, one game, and he got named player of the week. That's it. There was nothing there for him. The guy's trash. I'm sorry, but yeah, I would give him a little bit more time, just because it's the COVID season. That's it. That's the only reason why I'd give him a little bit more time. But other than that, we'll see. Because you got the whole family strolling in here, huh, Nick?
Yeah, actually, number 3 is taking a nap. It's the one respite we're going to get for the next hour. So
that's awesome.
And hey, meanwhile, New York City almost puts a second one in. Like they are not satisfied with one early goal here. They are playing strong. They're looking for counterattacks. They're looking for long balls. They're doing whatever they can to get behind what has been a inconsistent Chicago Fire defense, I'll say.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find the lineups. They do have Calvo back. He was on international duty for a bit. So they've got a back line of Bornstein, Calvo, Pineda, and Sekulic. Sekulic was pushing up. I like seeing those wingbacks get forward, but not at the expense of giving up goals. So we'll see if he can continue to track back and keep the defensive shape as he pushes forward and looks to help launch the attack. So something to keep an eye on in that Chicago Fire game.
All right, we got Heithager jumping on with us. Heithager, here is your New York Red Bulls live stream reaction that we've been talking about doing for so long, and everything in the world kept coming up to prevent that. Thanks for jumping on, Heithager. Really appreciate it. And good luck to your Red Bulls today. It pains me to say that.
But very, very gentlemanly of you, Mike. Very sportsmanlike of you. Yes, yes. Let's all have a good game and let the best TFC win, I think is how you'd want to put it.
Pretty much.
Great.
So here comes TFC now up the left-hand side. Larea getting forward, cuts it back, trying to find somebody in the middle, and that high press jumps on. But De Leon on an overlapping run sends it in, and there's almost an own goal. Sends the cross in. Tim Parker goes to clear it out, and that missed by about a foot. Really good chance there to go into his own net, and would have been 1-0 TFC off an own goal. But they will have a corner kick. Tim Parker with the headband, man. I just can't with the headband.
Don't question Tim Parker. He's earned everyone's respect. Don't question him.
Hey, Jay Jardim joins us as well. Boys, let's go. TFC. Absolutely, Jay. Hopefully we're not drinking and sending gifts back and forth to each other in 2 hours after another poor performance. But it doesn't look like that same way today. TFC looks much better today. The high presser is giving them a little bit of trouble, but it's getting we're playing much better than we were that night. So, hey, we got Jake Walsh on as well. Yo, guys, I'm a big fan from Liverpool, UK. Awesome. Thanks for jumping on, Jake. Really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and get in on our $250 Visa gift card challenge. We've got a foul here on TFC in the box, and it'll be a free kick for the Red Bulls to clear it out of their own zone. Apparently, Mavinga goes for this bicycle kick, and the ref calls a foul on Mavinga, and the New York Red Bulls player was flying through the air for about 6 feet and landed on Mavinga when he was in the mid, like after he hit the ball with the bicycle kick, and it's a foul on Mavinga.
What? Well, I mean, you got to look out for player safety. I guess that's the only thing I can think of.
So then you just have to outlaw bicycle kicks then.
Apparently.
Oh, we got Jake Walsh, Liverpool, and then Cameron Young, biggest red going. I'll take a little bit of offense. The TFC, they're the biggest reds to me, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, guys, I got to ask just because I'm an Everton fan. That's how I ended up becoming more of an EPL fan, following Everton, following the American connection over there. But we don't have to talk about that anymore. We're here to talk MLS. We don't have to talk about how Everton has squandered a first place spot and performed horribly in their last 3 games. But anyway, Jake, Cameron, good to see you guys on the feed with us.
Absolutely.
Do you guys follow it? Let us know if you follow an MLS team, if there's anyone over here that is standing out to you. I mean, I know Toronto actually has a Liverpool player that they picked up on loan. I forget. He's Scottish, and I can't remember his name now. There you go, Mike.
Yep, Tony Gallagher. I don't know. He's played okay so far, but you know. is not, I mean, I guess how do you live up to the Liverpool hype when you're a left back, right? Give him some time. Give him some time. We've got Gosen Chalil, Toronto, best team in the MLS. I agree with you 100%. When they're healthy. If they're not healthy, not even close. But when they've got at least Akinola up top, they're good to go. So thanks for jumping on there. And Jay says it's 20 Celsius, that's 68 Fahrenheit for you Americans in Toronto today, out on the deck watching this game. That is awesome, Jay. I love watching games on the deck. Unfortunately, it's a little hard to set up all this equipment outside. So when we do lives, can't do it outside because I would definitely be doing it outside today if that was the case.
Well, hey, let me update everyone real quick here over in Chicago. It's still 1-0 NYCFC. Daniel Young, if you're out there, I'm sure you're enjoying the early goings so far. There's been a really good pace to this game. Both teams really pressing on the defense. I wouldn't consider it a high press, but some really good marking, some high energy. New York City just continues to maintain that possession and kind of dominate the possession statistic. We see that from this team. Typically, they love knocking the ball around. For those international fans, part of the city football group. So that's the style of play that they want to put in here. So they're going to have good possession. Chicago knows they're going to have to be just very, very aggressive on defense and maybe catch New York City in a counterattack because I think it's going to be hard for Chicago to kind of build any possession through the midfield. But I'm loving the energy. I'm loving the pace. It's great to see. Hopefully Chicago keeps their defensive shape. Calvo has been prone to some mistakes. Most of the Chicago Fire back line have had some big mistakes during this season. We'll see if it doesn't come back to bite them or if they can help launch a good counterattack. But right now, 24th minute, NYCFC is up 1-0. They turn it over in their own 18, but recover and concede the corner kick. So we'll see what happens here, Mike.
A big save here by Quentin Westberg. Probably the best chance of the game for both teams came from the Red Bulls just now. Quick turnaround shot from Brian White, stopped by Quentin Westberg. Great chance for the Red Bulls. That high press turned right into a good chance for them as they now have a corner. We've got Jake Walsh says he's a big fan of Inter Miami. And speaking of Inter Miami, they are leading FC Cincinnati. They're the lucky team that gets to play the worst team in the MLS today. And they are now up 1-0, and there's a chance for the Red Bulls, and they score. Barlow comes in off the back post, and they score off the corner. How that happened, I'm not quite sure. But it just came out of nowhere. But anyways, Miami up 1-0, and that will put them into a playoff spot at the moment, I believe. So here, the score here for the Red Bulls, kind of a little flick. It bounces around, gets to the back post. Barlow beats Mavinga, and he basically in the net taps it right into the net with his forehead. So 1-0 Red Bulls here, and TFC's got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, buddy, and I'm just trying to keep up with all the flurry of goals that's going around elsewhere too here, right? Jazz says, let's go, MF and Barlow. Yes, love to hear it. Love to see the energy there, Jazz. Meanwhile, we've got some goals over in the Miami game. Let me try and pull that up real quick.
2-0 now.
2-0 Miami in the 23rd minute. Maybe we should have flipped over there for a quick second and see how those goals are coming. But lots of early action here on these Eastern Conference games, these 2:30 Central kickoffs here. I'm actually kind of surprised Columbus and Atlanta is still 0-0. Similarly, Philly, New England stuck at 0-0. We got 1-1 draw, DC and Montreal. Miami's up 2-0 on Cincy. New York takes the lead over Toronto, as we said, and then Orlando, Nashville tied at 1. So some early goals. A lot of teams jockeying for position here in these Eastern Conference as we are here on Decision Day, MLS 2020. Thank you all for joining us. So, Mike, what's going on your end?
So nothing since that goal. New York still with that high press, still causing problems for TFC. They do get another shot on goal here off the turnover. But yeah, TFC, they're in a little bit of a struggle here. Bunch of people jumping on our stream here this last few minutes. So Jazz, thanks for jumping on. as well as Dylan Albrecht. Just got to see TFC in person last year and really enjoyed it. That's awesome because I love going to a TFC game. There's nothing better than being at BMO Field, at least in my opinion. But thanks for jumping on, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Get in on our $250 Visa gift card challenge. We want to give away some money. We also want to start making some money. So if you're watching, hit the damn button and help your friends out. So here is Red Bulls again, gets the ball in, and it's 2-0 Red Bulls. Ooh. Florian Velo or Brian White? Brian White cleans up on the back post.
Mike.
Quentin Westberg looked like he's lost out there. Now he's faking an injury. No, you're not hurt. You just didn't know where the damn ball was. But yeah, 2-0 New York Red Bulls. This is ugly now.
So I thought Toronto wanted the Shield. I thought Omar Gonzalez said they want the MF and Shield, Mike. They're certainly not playing like it right now. What's going on over there? No,
they're in shock, man. They can't. This press, they played well for the first 15 minutes against it, and the back line is falling apart, man. De Leon is the last guy back for TFC, and he's the winger. I mean, this is they're looking like absolute trash out there. Nobody, Omar Gonzalez standing there, looking at Brian White, the forward, run in on the back post, and nobody's there to get the ball. What the hell they're doing out there, I have no idea. Now, the TFC has definitely come back a lot this year, so it ain't over till it's over. But Jay Jardim says, Mike, what are you drinking?
It's not strong enough.
Johnny Walker Black and Coke. I was not going to drink today, and then I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm drinking, and I can take a nap before Sunday Night Football if I have to.
Well, whatever it is, Mike, down 2-0 with the Shield on the line, probably not strong enough for you.
Yeah, you're right.
You're like you're Johnny. But hey, question for you: why is De Leon starting? Like, I felt like they brought him in as a depth piece to really kind of shore up for another trophy run. Why is De Leon starting in a game of this?
No Piatti, no Delgado.
Okay, that would do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, if Piatti's in the game, he's starting there. Delgado is, going to be kind of paired up next to Mike Bradley. And Osorio would be up front with Pozuelo and Piatti. So, yeah, that's Nashville just ties it up 1-1 against Orlando City. Man, these games, they're just flying in fast and furious over here, all these goals. Especially in, I think 2 minutes was the time between those two goals for New York Red Bulls. Here's TFC, though, on the attack. De Leon back up towards the front of the field where he should be. And a nice pass there from Oso gets cleared out. So Osorio tries to do some back heel or something and ends up fouling Aaron Long. So, yeah, this is interesting. We got Heit Hager says, she's gone to Red Bull Arena. And she's our resident Red Bulls fan here on the stream today. So thanks for jumping on with us. Red Bulls looking good for you, Heit Hager. Good, looks good today. Nick, what are you seeing out there?
So looking at NYC Chicago, you had some shouts for a penalty. New York had earned a corner, and it looked like the Chicago defense was kind of pulling guys down on the corner there. No call. I think it was the correct decision by Fotis Bazakos there to not award the penalty. It would have been really soft had he done that, and really would have changed the dimension of this game. We're in the 30th minute. New York City still in control, still keeping that great possession like they do, and Chicago's just really trying to win the ball back. You saw a few minutes ago Coach Raphael Wicki talking to assistant coach Frank Lopas and just really in a very energetic conversation. I'm assuming they're just trying to figure out how they can get more possession and create some more opportunities at this point, or how they can turn over New York, because it's all New York City right now. Let me see if I can pull up some quick stats, but New York City, they're creating opportunities. They're maintaining possession. They're doing everything they need to at this point. Chicago's just kind of running around, and percentage is almost 60-40 possession in favor of New York City. So Chicago has a lot of work to do to get back into this game, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Josie Altidore sitting on the bench, decided to put his mask on now. Didn't have it on a few minutes ago. Now his mask's on. And so
somebody told him. Somebody told him you're down 2-0. The cameras are going to start looking for you, Josie. You better put a mask on.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Oh, how did that go in? You got to go find this goal from New York City, Mike.
Great
2
shot.
NYCFC. They strike on the counterattack. 1v1 with the keeper. Shuttleworth comes out and gets a piece of it, just enough to slow it down. The ball's rolling out over the touchline, and the NYCFC player is able to just push it back towards the goal. And due to the spin on the ball, it actually rolls back into the net. So what a ridiculous angle. I don't know how this went in. They're showing the replay again here. He is shooting from just outside the 6-yard box, about 2 yards off the touchline, and makes it 2-0. Now, what's going to be interesting here, Mike, you had Raphael Wicki talking to the fourth official. They're trying to say that there was a handball on the New York City defender way back in the beginning of the play. So my go, nope, they are not going to check it. They're letting it go. And Gary McKay-Steven gets his second of the season to put NYC up 2-0 in the 32nd. Chicago just keeps digging, man. Digging holes here.
Well, again, that's Chicago, man. I don't have any faith in that team. I really don't. I have not. I believe I might have picked them or a draw in that one because I'm like, they're at home. They do play a lot better at home than they do on the road. And they need to win to make the playoffs. Whereas New York City's already in, so I think I might have went with that with my pick, but it wasn't a smart one there because you can expect New York City to do well. Columbus up 1-0 over Atlanta, and still no score in Philadelphia, New England. So TFC, if they can come back here, what's that?
Barrett just pulls one back for Chicago.
Oh, there you go, 2-1. Apparently, I just have to start talking some smack about a team, and then they start scoring. So TFC, you suck. You're playing like trash.
Oh, my goodness gracious. New York City leaves Robert Baric, who's in the running for a golden boot, all alone at the 6-yard box while I'm trying to see who the winger was, just lobs across in. You know, it looked like the New York City defense was playing 4 corners, and Baric just sat in the middle of the box. And just free header, 6 yards out, puts it in the back of the net. 2-1 New York City in the 34th minute. Here we go. We got us a game again, Mike.
Yeah. At 2-1, it's still alive. Apparently, I'm gonna just start talking bad about these teams. So, TFC.
Let's start talking bad about New England and see if they can't put something in and make the Shield race interesting.
Yeah, right. Oh man. Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, if both teams were to lose, it would still go to Philly. So,
right, they got the goal differential. Is that how it splits?
The goal differential by a whole lot. I mean, a lot. DC United retakes the lead on Montreal 2-1 in that one. TFC trying to get something going, man. They just can't get around this press. It is very clear what to do here if you are Greg Vanney. At least if I was Greg Vanney, I immediately, well, maybe not immediately, but I would bring Larea up to the midfield as that winger with De Leon, take De Leon out, put Gallagher in, and then bring in Altidore for a midfielder, probably Endo as well, and kind of go and swing it up that way. That's what I'd be doing probably at the half. It won't count as a substitute. I mean, TFC is playing so bad right now. Jay, I think we're probably going to be having another one of these gift conversations later because they started out well the first 15 minutes, but man, they look like trash right now. Quentin Westberg plays the ball up the field and like kicks it out of bounds by like 15 yards. I mean, it looked like Joe Bendick, back in the day for TFC, man. His distribution was just horrible. And that's what we're seeing here today from Quentin Westberg just now. So a throw in here for the Red Bulls deep inside TFC's third, and the Red Bulls are just passing the ball around nicely. TFC's not pressing on them, and then the second TFC gets the ball, New York is on them like flies on shit, and they take the ball right away from them. So here we go again with that. Now finally they back up and give a little bit of space for Chris Mavinga, and he goes back to Quentin Westberg. And then Westberg just slides it over to Gonzalez. And now for some reason the Red Bulls have completely backed off. That's weird. But Michael Bradley then kicks it back to the defense, and then they swarm Nick De Leon, who clearly plays the ball with his hand, but the ref waves it off as the ball playing into his hand, not his hand playing to the ball. trying to send a long ball into Akinola, cleared out easily by Aaron Long. They absolutely need Josie Altidore into this game because Aaron Long is just controlling the middle of that field right now from the defensive end. And Akinola's having a hard time with him, especially since the ref calls a foul every time he touches him. So,
well, it's great to hear that Aaron Long is having a good game, at least from USMNT perspective. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about him going over to England, whether it be in the Premier League or whether it be in the Championship, their second division. But he could be a very key piece for the U.S. national team. Meanwhile, the Chicago Fire just caught ball watching as Medina converts and makes it 3-1 NYCFC. Yeah, Aaron Long, though, he's a guy who really could have an impact for the United States, whether it be starting, whether it be coming off the bench and giving some depth to that center back position there. Hopefully he stays healthy, fit, and has that edge to him that allows him to shine on the international stage. Now, getting right back here to Chicago NYFC, oh my gosh. Some of the worst defending that I've ever seen. This is why Euro snobs hate the MLS, because of defending like the Chicago Fire. They just watched New York City pass the ball from one side of the 18 to the other side of the 18, and Medina just tees up a shot. And if I'm Bobby Shuttleworth, if I'm the Chicago goalkeeper, I am livid and I am pissed. And if Chicago doesn't make the playoffs, then all of his defenders need to take him out for dinner or Grubhub delivery something to him if the restaurants are closed, because they left him out to dry on a couple of these goals tonight and throughout the season. So that's my rant against Chicago. And if you're New York City, just keep on taking advantage of it. It's 3-1, and they're already back in the offensive third looking to make it 4. This is great. Great soccer from NYCFC.
Wow. Yeah, they've been playing well lately, man. That New York City is looking good. Now here in the Toronto game, Richie Larea goes down holding his hamstring abductor or something like that. And he's down on the ground for a good 5 minutes, signals for the substitution, and then decides, you know what, maybe I can keep going. So he comes back on. Gallagher was ready to come in, but he is now back on the field. I'm sure it's about a matter of like 2 to 3 minutes before he gets subbed out for Gallagher. Because usually when you do that, it's always just changes.
Yeah. Well, if he can make it to halftime and save his team from having to use one of their official subs, hopefully he can do that.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think Vanny's ever been shy about making a sub when he needs to. I don't think he ever plays that game of, well, I got to save my subs for the end. I don't think that's a Greg Vanny type of thing.
No, for sure. And hey, just a little bit of news in the other football sport here in America. Man, the Bears lose again.
Yep.
Start playing some real teams and all that hype. Everybody excited about Nick Foles again, or still? Or
look, dude, any Chicago fan who actually knows anything about football realized this team was a fraud. So let's stick to MLS. Let's stick to the American soccer, not the not American football.
All this fraud going on lately, I can't handle it.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So here's the Red Bulls now in possession. They're back. TFC's got nothing going on here. Michael Bradley just keeps going backwards. Every time they try and get something forward. The beginning, they got to get back to what they were doing in the beginning of this game when they were ready for the high press and they kept getting the ball into the middle of the midfield with Pozuelo or Osorio and pushing it up to Io Akinola with some through balls. They're going to get lucky. They did that 3 times. There was no adjustment that I can see on the Red Bulls part. They got to keep going with that and get this thing moved forward so that they can get into a goal. I mean, they got to score something here. You would hope before halftime to get back into this game. Every other damn game in MLS except for Philadelphia and New England has a goal here. So goals are definitely going to be on the sheet today. There's no question about that. As now a foul is called on the Red Bulls. And we got a substitution here. Richie Larea comes out for Tony Gallagher, just like I said. Telling you, man. Unbelievable.
It's like you and Greg Vanny.
Hey, dude, we're
Greg Vanny, psychic link.
We are spot on. Spot on. So,
and I am loving the camera work here at the Chicago New York City game. I think they just realized, let's keep a camera on Bobby Shuttleworth at all time, and we're going to catch him just losing his mind against the Chicago Fire defenses. They almost give up a fourth one. Again, New York City allowed to dink and dunk, pass back and forth inside the 18. But then Chicago goes right down on the other end, Mike, and it's 3-2.
Oh,
it's
man.
3-2. Chicago pulls another one back.
Damn. The goals coming in hot and fast on this decision day.
And you know what? This is encouraging because Chicago, we said it in the beginning of the season in our preseason analysis. We've said it during the season, and we've heard it from Wiki, how they want to play. They want to really build through the midfield. You look at their roster, they're built for the midfield. Wasn't working. How does this goal come? Long ball over the top. Left back launches one, cross field, and it's a one-touch played inside, and then the Fire striker, I didn't see who it was able to get in between the two NYCFC defenders and just slot it back. So great adjustment tactically from the Chicago Fire. It is now 3-2, and it was Frankowski. Only his second goal of the season makes it 3-2 NYCFC in the 42nd minute.
Okay. So that you've got an exciting one over there.
We got a barn burner here, man.
Yeah,
barn burner. Pardon the pun. Chicago Fire. Here we go.
Yeah.
and now Chicago's back
low in the box.
Yeah.
Passes back to Sean Davis. Pendant now with possession, swings it in, and the TFC players actually get in each other's way and can't head the ball out, and it falls all the way to the other side. Another cross in, and a corner kick out of it. Almost another goal for the Red Bulls.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Tie game 3-3 New York City Chicago. I don't know what I'm watching here. I don't know what I'm watching here.
We see that the update comes across. Philadelphia up 1-0 over the Revs. Sergio Santos with the goal. There you go. That was
Sergio. Is that the Sergio Santos who you think isn't that good and only had one good game?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Just because the guy scores a goal doesn't mean he's having a good game. I'm
just saying, though, he's done it over a few games now, so he's probably a little better than you think.
Yeah,
I'm not going to anoint him as the second coming of Ilsinho or anything like that.
So Philly's sitting in a real good spot right now. They're up a goal, up on the Revs a goal, and TFC is shitting the bed against New York Red Bulls.
Now, if Philadelphia wins the Supporter Shield, that's their first major trophy as an MLS team, isn't it?
Correct. That would be their first trophy as an MLS team. They have never won the Open Cup. They've been in a lot of finals. They've never won a MLS Cup. This would be the first time they've held silverware. They've been around for, I believe they came in 2009 or 2010, maybe?
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah, so here, maybe a promising chance here for TFC as they get forward a little bit. But no, they're Florian Velo comes back and cuts it off. TFC regains possession. And Endo tries to swing in, gives a little pass over to Pozuelo, who's just been invisible since those first couple balls in. Gets this one in, but it's easily cleared out by Brian White, who is playing defense right now. That's insane. The guy is playing up front and is literally stationed in with the back line of Aaron Long, Tim Parker, and then the wingbacks. So not sure what the hell they're doing there, but maybe they just realized they don't need a striker. Our chat has gone quiet for quite a while. If you're watching, say something. Or are we just hanging out by ourselves, Nick?
You know what, Mike? I'm having fun regardless. Chicago is pushing for the go-ahead goal right now. It's insane. Like I just saw someone tee one up from like 25 yards out and really test Sean Johnson there in goal. So the Fire and New York City are not disappointing in this game. To follow up your Philadelphia Union conversation, the Union were founded in 2008 and their inaugural season was 2010. So it's been a decade with them not winning a trophy. I can't think of another team that has gone 10 years without winning a trophy. Yeah. I'm sure there are some that just none come to mind. And it's kind of funny to think that Philadelphia has been around for that long. Like we only think of them as, as a big team, like over the last just like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
But really they've got a lot of MLS history and just kind of shows you how difficult it is despite the parity that the league wants, despite the money that the league's been putting into it, despite the expansion of rosters and players and everything else you can do, it's really hard to sustain success or even just, be a flash in the pan for a year and win something.
Yeah.
So good on Philly that hopefully they have built a squad or have built an organization or a structure that can have sustained success. They're losing guys. Aronson's going to Salzburg. McKenzie's probably going to Celtic or someplace. And if Santos keeps scoring goals, then he's going to get picked up by a bigger club overseas. And Philly hopefully takes that money and continues to grow who they have in their system right now. So Chicago gets a free kick in stoppage time here. Nothing do ya, and it looks like it's going to end 3-3 at halftime here in Chicago. What a first half.
Yeah, I'll say. 6 goals, man. Here's a chance now for TFC right before the halftime whistle. Akinola with possession at the top of the box, goes over to De Leon. De Leon back to Pozuelos, the furthest forward I've seen Pozuelo all game. He tries to clear one in. It's blocked, falls back to him. He goes back to Omar Gonzalez, and now we play backup ball with TFC. Man, nothing meaningful out of that chance. And, and here's a long ball in from Omar Gonzalez. Nothing there. Osorio out wide to Endo. And if your crosses are coming in from Endo, that's trouble. He centers it into Osorio, takes way too long with the ball, passes it over to Bradley. Bradley over to Auro. Auro back in, and De Leon misses the cross. The only thing between him and the net was the goal line, and he misses the ball. Now let's see exactly how easy of a sitter that was. Pretty damn easy.
And that's like where De Leon has made his reputation.
Right.
Like, as he's been in the league for so long, he's been doing it at a very high MLS level for so long. And he's usually the guy that either comes on as a sub and finds that little bit of magic, or even as a starter, in this case, is able to just be consistently in all the right places and then, create something out of it. For him to miss that is very uncharacteristic.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's halftime, 2-0 Red Bulls. TFC has been a second half team this year. They will hope that they can do it again to try and get back into this one. So, Nick, we'll be back in about 15 minutes or so. Everybody stay tuned, and we'll be back to continue our Decision Day headquarters. we're back, and we've got Nick here back from halftime break, just underway in the second half, just starting up right now. TFC got to hold the faith. I'm sweating it out, but I'm holding on a little bit of faith here, although I'm a little bit scared because Ralph Priso has come into the game for Jonathan Osorio. Now, Ralph Priso, the homegrown youngster for TFC, he has played extremely well since he's been called up for TFC, but that makes me nervous about Jonathan Osorio and why he gets pulled out at the half. Could it be another injury? Richie Larejo just went down. He gets substituted by Tony Gallagher, and now Osorio. So looks like there could be injury trouble in TFC land. That's probably what's going on. Nick, how was your halftime break?
Hey, halftime was good, Mike. Halftime was very good.
Good. So there, look at that. He's starting it up. So halftime.
That's it.
As we forgot to do our sponsors here. So we've got our sponsor, our hydration break sponsor is Skira. Unfortunately, it's the wintertime, so no hydration breaks in the games. But we've got a hydration break sponsored by Skira Icelandic Water. Thank you for supporting us and doing what you do to help us continue to grow and bring this awesome soccer content to all of our viewers and listeners. Also, on the podcast side, our sponsors are Donovan Food Brokerage and Nice Premium Iceland Pure Spring Water, available at Walgreens. Skira is available at 7-Eleven. Nice Premium Iceland Pure Spring Water is available at Walgreens. Go get some and help support our sponsors if you're thirsty. But don't leave right now. Go after the game. TFC, they've got to get back into this, man. I mean, they have got to show up in the second half. They have done that multiple times this year. They were down against Philly 1-0. They came back to win. They were down, they were 0-0 against Atlanta. They scored in the second half to win the game. They were down against Inter Miami. They came back to win. Can they do it again against the high press and on the road? That's the question that begs for TFC. I did pick the Red Bulls in my picks and predictions, and I teased everybody and said, maybe it's the superstition. Maybe it's because I think the Red Bulls will win. It was totally superstition. I figured TFC would come out here and get the job done, and they totally did not.
Well, Mike,
is there any
yes, there
TFC comes back here, Nick?
I have the mantra of, you're a good team until you prove me that you're not. You're a terrible team until you prove otherwise. You're the best team until you start to suck. I've had that mantra for a very long time, and I still think the same way about TFC, that they are one of the best teams in the league. They are arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference. They are clearly better than the New York Red Bulls, but can they be 3 goals better in the second half? I think there's the potential if they can get a quick one. If you see some offensive-minded subs from Vanny, if Akinola's good, if his legs are still holding on in the 70th, look for Josie to come on for someone else and maybe go for it. Or Mike, here's where your TFC insight is going to be very useful. Do you think Vanny is just like, man, forget it. There's no way we win the Shield. There's no way we lose the second spot. Let me just empty the bench and save some legs.
It's a possibility. There's no doubt it's a possibility. As De Leon just misses a sitter from about 8 yards out again. De Leon's having a hash of it today. But yeah, that is a possibility. I
know players and coaches. Yeah, I know players and coaches can't have like cell phones and technology and all that stuff on the sideline.
They know,
but I'm sure somebody somewhere is like, yeah, Philly's up.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I think, look, I'm a diehard fan. The Supporters Shield means a lot to me because I'm kind of one of those like old school soccer fans where the regular season is a huge deal. But in MLS, we all know it's about MLS Cup. It's about the playoffs. It's about that run. And maybe that's what he did with Osorio. Maybe there's an injury. I'll have to look through some of the tweets there. But maybe it's an injury. Maybe he's like, you know what? Let's just get him out of here because we just lost Larea, and we don't want to. We maybe should brought him back a little too soon. So they do that with Philly up, down 2 goals in the first half. It is a possibility. You have to look at it that way.
There you go.
Yep. But the team is definitely fighting. They've looked a lot better here in the second half. Here's De Leon again with a move to the inside, cuts it back, a save, but there's Endo puts it into the back of the net. Was he offside? I don't know. It could be. He looked like he was in a bit of an offside position. I will put that out there. The goal, the field call is goal, but it looks like he might have been offside. Here's the replay here. Endo with a pass over to De Leon. He cuts back. Oh, nope, maybe not. Looks like Pendant might have kept him onside. Have to see it from this angle. Here it is. Pendant does keep him onside, and it is a good goal for TFC. I don't expect VAR to come back and rule that one out. So, who would have thunk it? De Leon, who's stunk it up today, and then Endo getting one back. And, yep, it's a good goal. Count it. No VAR check whatsoever. 2-1. TFC's looked a lot better in the second half.
Wow, look at that.
So now they're back in the game. Maybe that they lights a fire under their ass, and maybe they get going. I don't know. We will see. Man, that brought a little bit of life into me. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. Philly up 1-0 still. How's that Chicago New York City game? Is it 5-5 yet?
Hey, not yet, Mike, but not for lack of trying. Chicago's had some good offensive opportunities in the first 5 minutes here. New York City just trying to establish some possession. We'll see if the Fire keep working those long balls over the top. Like I talked about in the first half, they kind of changed their tactics a little bit since they were having a hard time doing much in the midfield. But we'll see. It's kind of a slow start. There have been some fouls, both teams trying to establish themselves as the physically dominant team. But we will see, and I will keep you updated as we continue on this Decision Day 2020 here around MLS.
All right. So my mother, she's like, where's your stream? Where's your stream? How do I get it? She found it. So Mom, thanks for jumping on and watching. And she asked, is this a final? And no, it is not a final. It's the Supporters Shield is on the line. The Supporters Shield is the trophy for the team with the best regular season record, kind of like the President's Trophy in hockey, since I know you're a diehard hockey fan like I am. So yeah, it's kind of like that regular season championship trophy. If TFC wins and Philly draws or loses, then TFC would win that trophy. So not a final, but maybe they'll be in a final in a month or so's time in MLS Cup. If they can keep everybody healthy, I think they have a chance at it. Here is TFC now. With a long ball up, Duncan cuts it off, hands it over to Velo. He tries to send a through ball forward, but Chris Mavinga's there easily. And then they give the ball right away back to Duncan over by the touchline. And now New York with some pressure on. TFC not really holding that momentum there for very long. The Red Bulls probably came out in the second half a little bit different. And that's why things changed up a bit. And now they're back to that good high press. As they create another turnover off De Leon there. The ball goes out of play. Oh, does Auro keep it in? He does. Up to De Leon. They're trying to get something going quickly up front, and De Leon looks like he's got Gallagher over on the wing. He does. Slides it up to Gallagher. Gallagher with his head up looking for somebody in the middle of the field. Goes back to Pozuelo. Pozuelo up to De Leon, and it's deflected up. It lands right in front of Pozuelo as he's looking around for the ball. It lands right in front of him, and now Bradley in possession. So TFC looking a lot better here in the second half. So this one might get very interesting. I have a feeling it could. All right, here is Ralph Priso now in possession. Goes over to Auro. Auro over to Mike Bradley. And back to Omar Gonzalez, all the way back to Quentin Westberg. So TFC holding some serious possession right now. I would love to see Josie Altidore as he goes to warm up, strolling slowly down the sideline. I would like to see Josie Altidore into the game as well as Jaden Nelson. Get that offense in. You have nothing to lose. Your goal differential is already crap. Go out there, get ready for the playoffs, and go score some goals.
Yeah, because even if TFC were to lose right now, they would drop from the 2 spot to the 3 spot if Orlando City ends up winning that game. Because right now TFC is 3 points up on Orlando. So even if TFC loses and Orlando draws, TFC is still sitting in that number 2 spot. So you're right. Go out and try and get some goals. I mean, they're never going to pick up.
TFC will still stay in the 2 spot, Nick. So they would tie out points, but TFC would have one more win, which is the first tiebreaker before goal differential.
Thank you. You're right.
Playoffs are 2 spot regardless. So yeah, they've got nothing to lose here. Go forward, go after it. If Red Bulls score 4 more goals on you and you lose 6-1, who cares? Doesn't matter. The only thing is the guys might be a little disheartened because they lost 6-1, which, whatever, it is what it is.
Well, knowing TFC, they bounce back from those games.
What's that?
I said, knowing TFC, though, if they were to lose that bad, they're not going to go feel bad for themselves or get down. Like, they're going to come out in that first game of the playoffs and just be on fire.
Right. Yeah, they know what's on the line here. And if they were to lose 6-1 because they were going forward, they would know that. So they wouldn't really, I don't think they would be down on it too far. Nice little cut there from Arrow. Oh, off the post. Almost an own goal from Aaron Long as he gets a foot on Arrow's cross and it hits the post and almost goes in. So TFC's buzzing right now. And, oh, no, it wasn't the post. Mira's arm. Never mind. But TFC's buzzing right now. They've got it going on at the moment. So, looks, we got some action here on Twitter. Owen Smith, thanks for following us on Twitter. Everybody else, we got Black Jokers Entertainment. Whom do you see winning? All right, so prediction-wise, in this game, where it currently stands, I still go with the Red Bulls. Michael Bradley almost puts TFC back to 2-2 as the ball gets slid through to him. He shoots it, and Mira just barely gets a toe on it. TFC is on in this one right now. Hopefully they can keep this momentum going. But I see New York Red Bulls getting the victory at home. So Black Jokers Entertainment, check out our picks and predictions pick video that I did Friday. Go check that out. That's on our page. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We do a lot with the betting picks and whatnot. I bet a lot of money of my own money, and sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. Wednesday night really put me into a bad hole, but before that I was up on the season. So here's Ralph Priso now in possession for TFC. This high press is not working at the moment. Pozuelo in the middle of the field cuts it back, takes the shot, and Mira with a save, and it goes out for a corner. It is all TFC at the moment.
Yeah, Black Jocker says, he had a $50 bet for Red Bulls, hoping he wins there. And for your sake, I hope the Red Bulls get that win. That way you can make your money on it. But as we were saying a little bit ago, with this early goal from TFC, this game's far from over. So right now, to me, it's still a coin flip. Even though TFC is down, even though they've got some injuries, is Pozuelo playing, Mike? I know you said Piatti's out.
Yep, so Pozuelo's in the game, and he's finally coming to life here. Josie Altidore just gets subbed in as I have our subscriber challenge video up there. We've got Josie Altidore into the game now. I didn't see who he came out for, but he is now in the game. So 2 strikers up top, I believe, because Akinola's still in here. Michael Bradley takes another shot. It's blocked by the Red Bulls player, Velo. De Leon cuts it around Tom Barlow, goes out wide to Josie Altidore on the wing. He puts in a cross to the back post to Omar Gonzalez. The only guy there is the Red Bulls player who clears it out. Almost out of play, but Auro keeps it in. And, it was Brian White again. He's playing defense again. So either Brian White's really friggin' fast or he's really good at defense and offense. I don't know. So yeah, I'm hoping for Black Jokers Entertainment there for his $50 bet as well. I have 100 on the game for the Red Bulls to win. For my picks and predictions, I do put $100 on every game, and I picked the Red Bulls. It is out of stupid superstition, but that way it works. If the Red Bulls win, I at least make some money out of the deal, right? If TFC wins, I'm happy. So regardless, here's Priso in possession now, shoots the ball upfield for a run there for Gallagher, but just too far. Goes all the way back to Ryan Mira. 59th minute in this one, and we've got a good game going on here. Other scores around MLS, Chicago and New York City, where you're watching 3-3. Columbus and Atlanta, 2-1. DC United over Montreal, 2-1. Miami up 2-0 on FC Cincinnati. Red Bulls up 2-1 in this one. Orlando and Nashville 1-1 tie, and Philly with a 1-0 lead over New England. So I might have to switch up instead of having the Philly score here because the way things are going. Maybe we'll put it on the live standings because that's always fun for decision day, seeing how the standings are going and whatnot. So Nick, talk to us a little bit about New York City and Chicago while this game kind of takes a bit of a lull and I update our scores here.
Absolutely. This is the perfect time to talk New York City and Chicago because there's appeals by Chicago for a penalty kick as Chanot goes down to block across, and the ball does bounce up and hit him in the arm. but the ball hits him between his elbow and his shoulder, and it's his back arm, and the ball kind of like hits his back and his arm and everything. So it's not one of those cases of like his arms in an unnatural position, or he's flailing about trying to make himself bigger. Like, he actually just was in perfect form for this slide tackle to block it. The ball takes a funny hop up. Chicago Fire players obviously wanting the penalty, talking to the referee, but good old Fotis Bazakos does a very good job of explaining why it wasn't a penalty, why he didn't call it. And also, he was in a great position too. Like, if you watch the referee a little bit during this game and during a lot of the games, you can see what positions they're in and why they feel confident in some of their calls that they make or don't make. And he was right on top of it, just a few yards back from the contact. So I think a good no call, and he's doing a very good job to kind of keep control of this game. The energy is just frenetic here. The pace is so intense. And we saw a couple subs by the Chicago Fire here in the 58th with Aliseda and Navarro coming in for Herbers and Bornstein. So Aliseda, he's looking to kind of push a little forward, I'm guessing, and Navarro bringing some fresh legs in the back on Bornstein there just to make sure they don't give out any cheap goals to New York City. So the Fire definitely making early subs, which I love to see. I hate it when guys get subbed in the 80th minute and only get a handful of touches to try to make an impact on a game. So this is Wiki being very proactive. This is the Chicago Fire coaching staff really trying to imprint this game early in the second half and bring their guys on. And I love to see it, Mike. So we're in the 61st minute right now, still 3-3. But man, both teams really got a lot of energy going here. It's a fun one to watch, Mike. I'm really glad I got this one on.
I bet. Here's a couple changes coming up for the Red Bulls. They've got Daniel Royer coming into the game for Brian White. That's going to change things up a little bit because Brian White won't be playing defense. And then we also have Caceres Jr. coming on for the Red Bulls, for who I'm not sure yet, but another change there. So 2 subs coming in for the Red Bulls, 63rd minute. And I've got the live standings just over there they are. Philadelphia Union up top at 47 points right now, 2.04 points per game. And then you've got Orlando City sitting in that 3rd spot, Columbus Crew in the 4th, New York City with the draw. I don't think they can even catch Columbus if Columbus wins.
Doesn't look like it.
So yeah, this is kind of where everything stands right now. Hopefully it moves around a lot like it was in the first half, but we will see.
Yeah, the one thing to look at the standings there, Mike. First of all, MLS does a great job. Their MLSsoccer.com website like updates it like every 30 seconds to a minute or something like that. So they're doing a great job of getting the standings updated. But yeah, if New York and Columbus win, then they will stay in the 4 and 5 spot.
Okay.
Unless something happens with Orlando, then maybe Columbus can sneak into the 3 spot. But yeah, if both of those teams win, Columbus will stay ahead of New York City. They are 2 points ahead right now. So Columbus looks in a pretty good position to get a home field advantage again for whatever that's worth this year, at least in that first game. But New York, you mentioned it in the first half, Mike. New York City's got some momentum, and I pulled up their schedule. They've won 3 straight coming into this game against Chicago. And then I think before that, it was just a loss and a draw before they had a couple wins. So New York City's been having a very, very good season, very, very quietly. I think they've had such high expectations for so long, and people have kind of been disappointed by them for several years without them ever making an MLS Cup final, that people just kind of got tired of talking about them. And no one's really paid much attention this year. You got Ronnie Delia coming in. You had some injuries to some of their top players. There's no David Villa for the MLS hype machine to just fall all over themselves with. So New York City quietly, though, has had a very, very good campaign. Their 36 points has them right now 5th in the East. That would put them tied for 2nd or 3rd in the West. Now, obviously, it's a completely different schedule. We're playing completely different teams, West versus East. But that just shows you how good they've been. They have scored. Let's see here. They have a plus 11 goal differential. They've got 33 goals in this campaign this season. 33 goals. would still have them fourth or fifth in the West. So they're scoring at a good clip. They're beating up on the Eastern Conference teams that they need to. So New York City, this could be a good season for them. Meanwhile, they're starting to build some possession and quickly counterattack here against Chicago in the 64th minute. We'll see if it pays off. Chicago's got numbers back defending, but we got a 1v1 situation here. And who's that number 11 for New York? Castellanos tries to go near post, tries to get cute. Shuttleworth read it all the way. I said it tries to get cute, but really that was his only option, considering how the defense had set up. But still, I love seeing a striker try to go near post, because they're feeling it if they think they can sneak one in near post. But yeah, here we go. Chicago, New York City. Game on in the second half.
All right, so New York City, the only question I have for them is, can they do it in the playoffs? That's it. Right? They're a good team, great team in the regular season. They started out rough, but they've pulled themselves well back into the picture to be an MLS Cup contender, even minus Hebert. But can they win games in the playoffs? That's the only question. So this game's kind of gotten a little bit back to the even point here. New York and Toronto, both nobody really pushing forward like crazy. Pozuelo just nutmegged the defender, then went down the other guy who came to clean up his mess, and then gave the ball away after that with a bad pass. But overall, TFC looking better here in the second half. We should be in for a good finish, would be my guess. Now, can TFC turn it around and hope on the other side that Philly turns their lead into a loss or a draw? We've got Yearwood down on the field here. He's holding his toe. Time wasting? I don't know. The trainers are coming on. He looks fine. What the hell he's complaining about?
Well, New York's getting some pressure on Chicago here. They're up for their second corner kick in about as many minutes. Meanwhile, Orlando takes the lead on a free kick against Nashville. So they're solidifying their top 3, top 4 finish in the Eastern Conference. What a year for Orlando. New York City trying a couple kind of set pieces off set plays off the corner kicks here. First one, excellent execution. Just the runner on the far post was late. Otherwise, it'd be 4-3 New York City. And then the second one, not the best execution on it. Chicago Fire read it and were able to clear. New York City looking to build a little bit more possession again. Ball's kind of getting ping-ponged around in midfield. We'll see if anything comes of it. Mike, we've got some buzz going on social media as far as the Chicago here. They're looking to say that should Frankowski get subbed out, looking a little tired. Chicago needs legs. Chicago needs energy. They need a win. They need a win. They want to have it in their own hands. They don't want to see what the rest of the table does to see if they can stay in one of these play-in games here. But anyway, that's everything from it over here. So also the joke going around on Chicago Fire social media is Collier going to come in and score the game winner and just send everyone going nuts. And if you know Chicago, you know how crazy that is. If you don't know Chicago, let me just tell you how crazy it is. It's pretty crazy. We'll leave it at that. Mike, what's happening on your end? How are your Reds? How's TFC looking? They're going to get that equalizer?
Oh, whoops! I'm on mute. Thanks, man.
Hey, there you go.
I went on mute because the dog was barking upstairs while you were talking, and forgot to turn it off.
No worries. You're into the game. That's all right. Microphone's coming.
I am into the game. It's getting tight now. TFC's not really holding the possession and the ball the way they were in the start of the second half, but they definitely look better than the first half. So hopefully they can keep it going here and get this thing tied up. Mavinga tries to shuttle the ball out of play, but he ends up stopping it and clearing it back up the field to Akinola. Akinola over to Pozuelo. Red Bulls player makes a mistake, and Josie Altidore is just standing there looking at Pozuelo. Dude, get on your horse and run. And he does finally get on his horse and run, tries to pass it back to Pozuelo, and he passes it about 4 yards behind him straight to the Red Bulls player. So Josie Altidore continues his stellar play this season, and we'll see if he can get a goal since he's playing so bad. Which is kind of what he does. All right, another Red Bulls player down. He's sitting on the field. This is Caceres, the sub. He's sitting on the field. He's stretching his legs out, and the trainers are coming out, and he puts his hands up, starts shaking his head. The trainers get out to him, and then he stands up. So definitely some time wasting going on here by the Red Bulls. 20 minutes left in this one. Red Bulls, they need the points. They need to stay where they are in the standings. They don't want to fall back even further. And they're playing for something here today too, not just TFC.
Yeah, Mike, things kind of settling down over here on the Chicago end. Still a lot of energy, but both teams just kind of jockeying around for position in the midfield here. We're kind of hitting the doldrums of that second half a little bit, and then we're in the 70th minute, 71st minute. Give me another 5-10. Let's see what subs are going to come in. Right now, both teams still have a number of subs left to use. I would expect Chicago to kind of stand pat. They already brought a couple guys in earlier on in this half. I don't know if New York is going to want to change their rhythm, though. So we'll see how Delia manages the rest of this game. Again, 20 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And New York City just kind of looking to still keep that possession and build a little from the midfield here. Looking around the league, though, Philly just goes up 2-0 on New England. Looks like that shield is theirs, Mike. Looks like Philly's going to get that first piece of MLS hardware. And, man, for their fans, I'm so happy for the Union fans that they get to celebrate that.
Yeah, I'm not that happy.
Wow.
Obviously. But here's Pozuelo with a ball into the box for Altidore, gets blocked off. But no, for Philly, the true diehards that are there for Philly, they deserve it. The fair weather ones that, when you look at that poor stadium, Subaru Park, when it's 3/4 empty, which is usually all the time, unless they're like in the playoffs the last couple of years. Good for them. Good for the diehard fans to get a piece of silverware finally. Now,
the diehard fans, good for all the fans. Let them jump on the bandwagon.
That changed things up for the playoffs, right? They don't have their goalkeeper, and that's now that they're going to be riding a high with the supporter shield, because a team like that has been so hard pressed for any hardware, that's a big deal to them. Will be interesting to see if they can hold it together and actually play out well in the playoffs, or if they just kind of die out because they took that trophy. Jay Jardim says on Twitter, he says, we lack so much pace, it's killing us. Pace is the number one issue on this TFC team. Absolutely. That is the only thing killing them. Piatti is quick, can bring a little bit more pace to the team when he's in the lineup. But yeah, when there's no Piatti in there, Akinola and Altidore are slow. They're just big. And that's their game. It's kind of like those bruisers. Akinola's got a little more speed than Josie, but that's just the youth in his legs and the less injuries that he's had. But that's what's killing TFC. Be interesting to see what they do, and as Akinola just runs over and just trucks Pendant going on the touchline there. It'd be interesting to see if that was Akinola. You know what? He needs to play for Canada with the Canadian men's national team. That was straight up like a hockey check into the boards, man. I mean,
I was gonna say, why aren't you plugging him for the red, white, and blue here? But some of those hockey moves coming back. All right,
he needs to be on the Canadian men's national team with that one.
There you go. And yeah, for our listeners and viewers, Akinola still can play for one of three national teams: Canada, United States, and Nigeria. So we'll see where he ends up. A lot of people in the U.S. have been trying to say, like, let's get him cap tied. Let's bring him into USMNT camp. Berhalter, just throw him in a couple friendlies just to cap tie him here. But he's had so far one good season, and one good season a player does not make. We're going to talk a lot more USMNT on our podcast recording tomorrow night. Monday night, especially with Berhalter releasing the USMNT roster for their friendlies against Wales and I think it was New Zealand. So we'll talk a lot about the USMNT player pool, the guys that got called up. But man, I think USMNT fans got to pump the brakes on Akinola for a bit. As much as I want to see more and more and more players join the U.S. national team pool, I don't know if we need Akinola to do anything for the World Cup. And you know what? He might get more playing time if he's in Canada or Nigeria, so that might sway him. But we're going to talk a lot of USMNT tomorrow night, that's for sure. At least I want to, Mike. I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we've got a lot of games to talk about. Jaden Nelson comes in for Nick DeLeon, which is the smart move here with 15 minutes to go for TFC. We'll see. We got a lot of games to talk about from Decision Day. We also have to talk a little bit about the playoffs coming up. But for sure, we'll touch on USMNT towards the end of the show. As far as Akinola goes, this one, he's been on the radar of some big clubs in Europe for a long time. So he's got, I mean, just because he's broken onto the scene, there's a reason why he just broke onto the scene, and that is because he plays in Toronto and not in a U.S. market. The kid's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of skills. He's up there with 9 goals this season, a couple more, and he's in the Golden Boot race. So, it's his first season. But the kid is good. He's basically a Josie Altidore with less injuries. So
wow, if you're Josie with less injuries, you're the perfect striker. I feel like, right? Maybe I'm overselling Josie, and obviously he doesn't fit as well into a Berhalter system as strikers with different skill sets. But as far as what the United States has looked for and wanted and needed, if you're Josie Altidore with no injuries, aren't you kind of the perfect U.S. striker?
I would think so.
Yeah,
that's why I'm really big on Akinola. I think he can really do well.
And at only 20 years old too. Like he's not even into the prime of his career. He's approaching the prime of his career.
Right. Yeah, he's not there yet for sure. So a couple subs here. Got a left back coming in for Barlow for New York, and I believe one other sub as well. So we got Black Joker's Entertainment. He says, just 15 more minutes to go for my win. Yes, sir. And Height Hager is back with us, and she is a Red Bulls fan. So here we go.
Welcome back, Height.
You got a good chance at winning this one. Jaden Nelson cutting in. Tim Parker with the block. And New York clears the ball. And now TFC with a bit of a high press going on here. With the urgency is picked up for TFC now in this these last few minutes.
Hey, Mike, score update here in Chicago, 4-3 New York City.
Oh, boy. All right.
At the beginning of the show, we talked about, that the Fire defense is prone to mistakes that kind of sometimes have inconsistent play. In the MLS's pre-decision day show, Matt Doyle talked about the Chicago Fire have to avoid that one big mistake in the back line. Well, they just made that one big mistake in the back line. There was an errant pass that went right through the middle of the 18, and Castellanos for NYCFC just jumps on it, no one around him, and is able to put it in the back of the net to take the lead here in the 74th minute, I believe. They just took the clock down for some reason. But yeah, New York City with the lead now. We saw, I think Collier's just subbed in for the Chicago Fire. So Chicago trying to kind of stay ahead of things a little bit. Yep, Collier subs in for Sekulic. So trying to get a little bit of that offensive jump start and maybe use his motor a bit. And yes, Castellanos credited with the go-ahead goal in the 77th minute here for New York City. So still a lot of game time. I mean, we saw 6 goals in the first half. Who knows what can happen in this last 15, 20 minutes or so here down in Soldier Field. But wouldn't it be appropriate for the Bears to lose in Tennessee and the Fire to lose at home in Chicago? That would just be Chicago sports in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. Orlando goes up 2-1 over Nashville. Speaking about Tennessee, Nashville now down 2-1 to Orlando City, and everything else pretty much holding firm. Columbus over Atlanta 2-1. I'm just rooting for it all. I'll just be 100% honest. I'm rooting for Atlanta to miss the playoffs.
All right.
don't care about about them and their successes. So I would love to see them not make the playoffs, especially in this year when 10 teams in the Eastern Conference are going to make it. DC United
play-in game. There's a play-in.
Right, it's a play. You're still in the playoffs. DC United over Montreal 2-1. So that would that right now, as things would stand, that the Fire and the Impact would both be knocked out of the playoffs, and DC United would squeak into that 10 spot, and Inter Miami would be in the 9 spot. That would set up, if things stopped right now, it would be Nashville SC hosting Inter Miami in the first Eastern Conference playoff game.
Ooh, I mean, I know the MLS likes to manufacture rivalries, but that would just be so fortuitous for them to have their 2 expansion clubs, both in the Southeast, playing each other in the first round of their playoffs.
Yep.
Hey, we got a break on here. New York City's 1v1 with the keeper, and a defensive recovery, and they cannot get the chip off. Takes the bounce and rolls out for a corner kick. Medina with a great opportunity there.
And as we speak of that, there's an update here. Cincinnati pulls one back on Miami, and now Montreal has actually bumped right back up into that 9 spot, and Miami would be in the 10th spot. So things are moving in the Eastern Conference, slowly but surely. 10 minutes to go in Red Bulls and Toronto. Nothing to see here, folks. Toronto still trying to pressure, but can't seem to beat that high press of the Red Bulls. That's just so damn good. And here's Michael Bradley up at the top of the box, tries to send it into Akinola, but it's just a horrible pass from Michael Bradley, who has just fallen so far. Maybe it's the injuries. Maybe it's because he's just getting old, but damn, he has really, really fallen off this year. There's a reason why the man was signed back on a TAM contract. It's a shame that they didn't do the same thing with Josie Altidore, but just a big difference from the Michael Bradley of old. Right now, I'd put him and Liam Fraser and Ralph Priso in the game and wouldn't even play Michael Bradley if it was up to me, if I was Greg Vanney. He's just been that bad. Here's a goal kick from Ryan Mira, and it's just a big miss by both guys going up for the head, and now all the way back to Quentin Westberg. He's looking for something up the field, trying to spring a striker up there, and Akinola makes a run. Josie's just kind of lobbing himself around, and then gives the ball away. Ball falls right to Josie. No pressure around him whatsoever. Tries to pass the ball over to Jaden Nelson, who also was wide open, and he mishits the ball straight to a Red Bulls defender about 10 yards away from Jaden Nelson. Greg Vanney, it's time to get off the bus. Get off the Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore bus.
Well, it took forever for the United States to move on from the two of them. Like, why wouldn't Vanney not take time to move on from them? Yeah. Come on, let's be honest about these guys here. As much as I had a love-hate relationship with Michael Bradley, I still think he's, still a top 20 USMNT player in history, and I think a lot of people have him partly because of his longevity in like top 10 of all time. But who knows? Maybe Vanney doesn't want to move on for him yet. Maybe he wants him back there for his calming presence along the back line. I'm not sure. Quick update here from New York, Chicago. Tony Rocha and Tajuri Shradi sub in for Medina and McKay Steven in the 81st minute. So looks like New York City is looking to just kind of hold on here now that they got that 1 goal lead as we get into the last 10 minutes of this game. Mike, a little excitement on your end? Yes,
Jaden Nelson takes a shot from about 35 yards out and didn't miss by much. About 2 yards, 3 yards. So it was dropping. So that one looked like it might have hit the back of the net there for a second. The reason why Montreal went back up was DC United and Montreal are now tied 2-2 in the 76th minute. So that one is actually much further back than the other games that are all in the 81st, 82nd, 83rd, 84th minute. So the goal kick by Ryan Mira. He's still standing over the ball. Looks like Ted Uncle's going to give him a yellow card for time wasting because he's just been hanging out there for a long time.
Where do you fall on that time wasting debate, Mike? Like, if a guy's doing that in the 10th minute of the game and it's 0-0, like the ref's probably not even looking at it. But now he does the exact same thing. When your team has the lead in the 80th, all of a sudden it's time wasting.
Well, he did get the yellow card for time wasting, and yeah, you know what? I'm that way altogether. I think if it's the 10th minute, if it's the 80th minute, you do it. If it's clear the guy's time wasting, you give him the yellow card. And I think if more referees would do that in the 10th, 15th minute, you'd see less of it at the end of the game because they know, and a lot of guys would already be on yellows. So I'm all for it. If a guy's wasting time, you can tell if he's taking too damn long or not. It's pretty clear. So,
and yeah, apparently, I just did a quick Google search. This has been something that's been on the international football radar for a long time, kind of the time wasting, things like that. So if I can pull up the laws of the game and kind of look at that, I think that'd be interesting because then it comes down to interpretation. Depending on exactly what time wasting is defined as, it comes down to the interpretation by each individual referee. Now, if it says something in there about, when there's an advantage that you're removing, okay, then I can see why they don't call it in the 10th minute and why they would in the 80th when there's a lead on the line. But I'd have to look up the exact language. That's the lawyer in me. Let's go back and read the language of the statute first.
Yeah.
What's the letter of the law? We'll start there.
So as you start there, Red Bull's now breaking, and a nice interception by Finga plays the ball up to Jaden Nelson. TFC starting to put some more pressure on here, but it might be a little bit too little too late, and it will be a corner for TFC. Oh, he gives the goal kick. That ball clearly goes off of the Red Bulls defender, clearly, and he gives the goal kick. Wow. I mean, it went right off of his foot and then damn near his knee, and they give the goal kick, but the referee's right behind the guy. He can't see it. So
I was talking about how they're usually in a pretty good position.
Right.
This is this one.
And now that guy who just knocked the ball out, Duncan, is now on the ground, wasting some more of that time, as it's now been about 25, 30 seconds. And he slowly limps up now, walking up the field. But yeah, this one is getting closer. TFC's getting a little bit more action on this one. We got a couple people jumping in the stream here, and they're saying goal. I don't know if this one is. We got goal, Xavier Studio, as well as Fanuna Abdi. I don't know if you're talking about the New York Red Bulls and TFC game or not. But thanks for jumping on, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button here. It looks like the Red Bulls player Daniel Royer is offside. So thanks everybody for coming on.
You're saying your stream's on a lag, buddy.
Yeah, is that
Hit
the case?
Refresh.
All right, so apparently I'm behind on my stream by a lot.
Geez, tell your kids to get off all their iPads and
dude, right? I'm gonna have to. Geez, let me. Yeah, and it's funny because we just had a good influx of viewers come on, and I'm like, what the hell? Maybe people are getting excited about this game for some reason. So. Yeah, dear God, it's still 2-1 Red Bulls here on my end. So let me just back out, and I'll start it back up and see what the hell happens.
That's what I'm still showing from the MLS's website too. But hey, maybe their website is slow. I don't know. Could be a number of things.
Yeah, could be.
Was there a Caden Clark's appearance in this game at all, or is he
doesn't look like the bench? Doesn't look like it. Nick Kagi, thanks for jumping on. He says, will TFC drop to fourth if they lose? No, they will stay in second if they lose. They will hold the tiebreaker over Orlando City. If they do win, they will still be ahead of them due to wins, which is the first tiebreaker. So,
right.
White Hager says Inter Miami red card. So that would be
affect their playoffs.
Yep. How does that work? If there's a red card, are they suspended for the first game of the playoffs, or do they stay? Does that all refresh?
I don't know of anything. If a player's getting suspended, then I would think he's got to serve that suspension his next game, playoffs or otherwise. I don't know the specific rule on that one, but I would think that if you get a red card in the last regular season game and you don't have to serve a suspension until next year, like that just encourages guys to go in with some reckless challenges. So, so I would think that the suspensions are still in effect as usual. Maybe some of the yellow cards reset, but I think that the red cards definitely would hold those red card suspensions.
Yep, that could be. So, hey, Fanuna Abdi and Zabir Studio. First thing, go hit that subscribe button. And then second thing, please explain to us where you're saying goal. Which game are you talking about? Because it's not this one.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they're trying to make it happen. They're wishing it into existence here.
There you go.
They want to see a goal. So guys, let us know. Are you Red Bulls, TFC, other? What's going on?
Hey, there's the Caden Clark coming into the game in the 91st, 92nd minute, and there's 4 minutes of stoppage time in this one. So I'd pretty much say this one's done and dusted. TFC is going to go down on decision day and take the L, and that's going to be that. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Union. That is well-deserved on their part. They did have a hell of a season. No doubt about that. 2-2 Orlando and Nashville. Miami still up 2-1. DC United and Montreal 2-2 in the 84th minute, a little bit behind all these other games. Columbus still up 2-1 in the 90th minute, and Chicago and New York City 4-3 New York in the 89th minute. So looks like the Fire might be missing out on the playoffs here. Omar Gonzalez is like up as a striker basically right now. Io Akinola has been battling with Tim Parker all day, and Parker has gotten the best of him 90% of the time. Here's Jaden Nelson at the top of the box, sending a long ball to the back post for Josie Altidore, but it's headed away by the Red Bulls player. Goes out of play for a corner kick.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I'm looking up some of the laws of the game, and as far as like time wasting, there you can get a yellow card for delaying the restart or unsporting behavior. So those are kind of the two ways, and I guess time wasting could fall into delaying the restart. If you look at that could be at any point in the game, right? If it's 0-0 in the 4th minute and the goalkeeper refuses to take a goal kick, you could get a yellow for it. But I guess that's more of delaying the restart, kicking the ball away, not giving the ball to the other player, standing in front of an opposing team when they're trying to take a free kick. I think that's what that is more for. And then so, not time wasting would be more of an unsporting behavior. And again, unsporting behavior more so when there's a lead on the line or result of the game on the line instead of just, hanging out in the 5th minute or something like that. So I guess that's my quick interpretation of it. If anyone's got anything else to discuss on it, man, let us know. We're more than happy to dive into it in a little more detail.
All right. So now Heidegger says Atlanta red card. The red cards must be flying out there. TFC with a couple corners here, a couple good chances, but good defending by the Red Bulls. Another corner here. Pozuelo shoots it out to the back here and just too far for Jaden Nelson as the Red Bulls look to clear it up. And this one should just about do it. Here's Michael Bradley. Passes over to Ralph Priso. Priso back to Alro. He's looking for somebody up the field, trying to get this last chance in there for TFC. Headed by the Red Bulls player, and a foul called on Jaden Nelson. A yellow card to Jaden Nelson. That's a 50-50 ball. Two guys going for the ball, and he calls a yellow card on that one. That's weird. But anyways.
Wonder if there's like persistent infringement or, if he's accumulated a number of fouls.
That's got to be part of it because even though Jaden Nelson really hasn't been causing too many fouls, so I don't know why I wouldn't go that far. But, yep, that's going to do it. Just waiting for the final whistle. Ryan Mira's taking his time. You better be careful. He might get another yellow. And the ref's just going to blow the damn whistle, so you might as well just kick it. And there he kicks it, watching the referee, and there he blows the final whistle, and this one's over. 2-1. That's the final. Red Bulls get the victory. Heidegger, congratulations on the win. I've been waiting for a Red Bulls live for a long time, and your team gets the victory on our live stream reaction over my TFC, who will not win the Shield this season. And they go down and get ready for the playoffs now. Should be interesting. So we'll stick around here. Let me get rid of my my scoreboard and everything here. Let's talk a little bit about some of the last games here.
Yeah, well, we still got Chicago and New York City playing out the last few seconds of stoppage time here. Looks like it's going to wrap up 4-3 in favor of New York City, unless there's some sort of just ridiculous type of play that occurs. Hey, buddy. New York City just kind of booming the ball down. They're just going to kind of kill some clock right now. It looks like New York's going to get this win. Looks like Chicago is going to just miss making the playoffs. Let me see if I can pull up those standings one more time, because it does not look good for the Fire right now unless there is just a little bit of a miracle left for them in the dying seconds of this game. Because unless they still somehow Inter Miami and DC both lose, which doesn't look like that's going to happen. Let's see, Inter Miami, where are they at? I think they're the only one with the chance. I'm trying to find the scores here, Mike. Trying to get the last.
Miami is right now is sitting in the 10 spot. Right now, Montreal is in the 9th spot, and Chicago would be in the 11th spot.
Yep. Why can't I find the Miami score? What's going on with the?
So Miami just went final, right? As you said, that Miami went final. They win 2-1. So that should, I believe, clinch a playoff spot for them, depending on some of the other results here. But Nashville has now taken the lead over Orlando, 3-2. They were down 2-1. They're now up 3-2, and wow. So now they're Orlando drops down to 4th, and Nashville would jump up to 7th. So 7-10 right now is Nashville and Miami again. I think they're just destined to play each other, and somehow the Montreal Impact take the lead against DC United 3-2, and Montreal is going to make the playoffs, which is just a miracle.
And Chicago is out. That's the final whistle.
It's final.
Man, it's crazy to think like, well, they didn't take advantage of early opportunity. And when it's a 4-3 game, like this was just a back and forth, and whoever had the last goal, or maybe whoever scored the first goal, ended up winning it like New York City did. So great game to watch. Sounds like you had a great one with TFC Red Bulls. Lots of action around the league tonight. Everyone make sure you're watching all those Western Conference games that are going to kick off in about an hour or so. All the Western Conference playoff spots are locked up. No one can get in or eliminated today, but everyone's kind of jockeying for seeding position, especially with how crazy the number of games played was with, Colorado not getting a handful of games due to some COVID suspensions and delays and all that stuff. So stay tuned for all those Western Conference games and see who ends up with the home field.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting in the Western Conference later. I'll definitely be watching some of those games. I might even have to just put together a live stream reaction. You know what? I'm drinking, I'm watching sports, and here is getting ready for Philadelphia. They're getting ready to storm the field here. Everybody's lined up at the sideline. Jim Curtin and Ali Bedoya giving each other a handshake, and there's the fans, man. They're going nuts. They're just euphoria right now. And from what I'm seeing, I like this as a Toronto FC fan. I really do. These guys are all standing on the sideline, like almost crying right now. And there's the final whistle. The Philadelphia Union are your Supporters Shield champions in 2020. I like it from a TFC perspective. These guys are all crying. They're so happy. They just won everything. They are complete euphoria right now, as they should be on home field. I don't want to take anything away from that. But I like this because who knows what's going to come of it when they actually get into the playoffs. But good on Philadelphia. Good to them for be able to do it at home, and good for them to be able to do it with fans in the stands. That's exciting, especially in the age of COVID, where some teams don't have fans. Funny, we had a comment on my picks and predictions about I can't remember which teams actually have fans in the stands. And that's a big part of it, right? These teams that actually have fans there, the home field advantage kind of comes back. That's been gone all season. So Philadelphia Union with fans in the stands, they get the victory, win the Supporters Shield, and it is almost final now. DC and Montreal are we've got literally the Union players are crying on the field. There's a guy down on the ground. His head is in the grass, crying on the field. Jim Curtin is walking around with this like wry smile and tears on his face. This is impressive.
life.
That's awesome, man. That's so great. That's the emotion, and that tells me though that they are still solely focused on doing more. That there's not going to be that sort of letdown because hey, we won a trophy, the season's a success, we don't need to do anything else. No, Philly has always been focused on making noise in the playoffs and winning the cup this year. That's what they've been building towards over these last couple of years, and especially they couldn't try and win the U.S. Open Cup again this year. The Supporters Shield was never kind of their goal. They wanted the championship. Here we are. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful, and I'm great to see that emotion. And these guys know their hard work's paid off. And gosh, remember a couple of years ago when Jim Curtin was on the hot seat and people were trying to get rid of him, and the front office signed different players and made him change his tactics and his lineups. And you know what? He did it, and it worked. Good for that organization.
Oh, there's a penalty on Diop, and the ref lets it go. Holy cow. Wow. VAR might come into play for this game to go to a draw because Diop just straight up chopped the hell out of the legs of the DC United player who's still down on the ground, and the DC United player beat him to the ball. That's going to go to VAR. Montreal is already down a man. In this one, it is the 4th minute of stoppage time. It's the final minute. And Julian Gressel with a ball into the box. Diop comes out to Frederick Briant. Briant gets his foot in on the ball. Diop wraps his arms around his legs. How this would not be called a penalty, I have no idea. The only problem with this is that the clock will keep running, and might be a little bit too late for DC to make the playoffs, but might bring Montreal down to Inter Miami, and I don't know who has the tiebreakers there. Looks like the wins are more for Montreal than Inter Miami, so Montreal would stay. Wouldn't make any difference either way. But this is fun, man. This is a good time.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump off, man. We wrapped up our games. I'm going to roll through some business around the house. Thank you to everyone for joining us, for viewing, for listening, for contributing to the conversation. I mean, that's what we do here. We try to grow the sport through conversation. So,
it is. So Hyde Hager, everyone, can you do a Western Conference live stream? I might just have to do that. We will see. So hang tight, Hyde Hager. I got to see what's going on. The wife is, the wife is sleeping upstairs, so maybe I'll get lucky and be able to do a Western Conference live stream if I can get everything put together in time. But here it's almost done now. Montreal over, no penalty on this one. DC still pushing. They go. It is blocked. Here's a shot in, actually across to the back post, centered in and off of the defender. And I believe it just blew a final whistle. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Edison Flores here. Nope, it's a corner kick for Julian Gressel. Gressel takes the free kick, and it's headed in and cleared out by Montreal any minute now for this final whistle. Montreal will clinch a playoff spot on the last day of the season. And we're now in the 6th minute of stoppage time. It goes out of play, and that is that. So just waiting for the final whistle here. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on with us. The Eastern Conference is pretty much set at this point. The only one that we're waiting on is this result, which doesn't really change much, even if DC gets a goal at the last minute to tie it up, because Inter Miami and Montreal, there is a tiebreaker in place, and Montreal would be there. So Hyde Hager says, please, 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 please. We'll see. So here you have it. Right now, the playoffs sit. Philadelphia Union wins the Supporters Shield. Toronto FC in 2nd. Columbus Crew and Orlando City 3rd and 4th. 5th place, New York City. 6th place, New York Red Bulls. Nashville, New England, Montreal, and Miami. We are going to have an expansion matchup in the first round of the playoffs, the play-in games. That one should be fun to watch. Here is another chance, though, for DC United before I get too crazy here. And they go play backwards, so this one is pretty much over. All right, we'll see what we can do about a later game. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're still watching, you are a die-hard MLS fan. If you are still sticking on with us, make sure you hit that subscribe button there and help us grow up to 1,000 to get monetized, and from there further on as well. And that is it. It is now final in DC. They are not making the playoffs. Montreal is. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon.